Every second, an average of 9,500 commercial planes are in the air worldwide. If you look at a live plane tracker, the world map is practically swarming with planes like flies. However, there are some spots on the map where you won't see a single aircraft. It seems as if planes are deliberately avoiding these areas, and that's actually the reality. Let's explore which airspaces in the world pilots absolutely refuse to fly through, and more importantly, why they avoid them. Number 6. The Tibetan Plateau. There's hardly a larger land area in the world that pilots go out of their way to avoid. The Tibetan Plateau covers an area of 2.5 million square kilometers, spanning across 9 different countries. Geographically, this is a very important route for planes as it can directly connect China to Europe and the Middle East. However, as we can see on the live plane tracker, aircraft are bypassing this entire area. The main reason for this is the high mountain ranges found in the plateau, which start from China, pass through Nepal and Bhutan, and end in Afghanistan. The average mountain height here is 14,000 feet. While commercial planes normally fly at 35,000 feet. Although planes typically fly well above these mountains in case of an emergency such as cabin depressurization or engine failure, oxygen masks automatically drop down. In such situations, pilots have only 20 minutes to act. Yes, you heard that right. Pilots have just 20 minutes to bring the plane down from 35,000 feet to 10,000 feet. This is nearly impossible here because the average height of the Tibetan Plateau itself is 14,000 feet. However, high mountains aren't the only reason to avoid the Tibetan Plateau. In fact, planes also encounter unique turbulence in this area. The air colliding with these high mountains creates strong updrafts, which can severely disrupt an aircraft's balance. Number 5. Volcanoes. On January 2nd, 2022, an underwater volcano erupted near Tonga Island in the South Pacific Ocean. Its smoke and ash cloud were so massive that it broke all historical records. This event was also captured by satellite, which looked something like this. The ash clouds were recorded reaching up to 19,000 feet in the sky. Ash clouds found at such high altitudes can easily damage any aircraft. The ash cloud from a volcano can break a plane's windshield and damage its engines. On June 24, 1982, a flight from London to New Zealand flew through a volcanic cloud. This was during a time when smoking was still allowed on planes. When smoke started filling the cabin, passengers initially thought someone was smoking, but what happened next gave everyone goosebumps. The crew and pilots began smelling sulfur in the smoke, and that's when they realized something was seriously wrong. The volcanic ash melted in the engines, shutting down all of the plane's engines and causing it to start losing altitude. Fortunately, as the plane descended from 37,000 feet to 12,000 feet, 3 out of 4 engines restarted, allowing the plane to make a safe emergency landing. However, after this incident, pilots stopped flying over volcanoes altogether. Number 4. Craters may look terrifying, but they can actually be far more dangerous than they appear, especially for planes flying overhead. There are about 170 asteroid impact craters in our world, while many others have been created by mining companies. While these craters don't pose a threat to planes at high altitudes, flying over them at low altitudes can be dangerous because they can potentially create air currents that pull planes or helicopters downward. In fact, the deeper the crater, the hotter its bottom tends to. At the bottom of the crater, hot air rises while cold air from outside flows in. This exchange of hot and cold air creates a vortex effect inside the crater, generating a powerful suction force. Meanwhile, outside the crater, highly unusual and strange turbulence forms. That's why pilots change their route as soon as they spot craters. Number 3. North Korea is the only country in the world whose airspace is considered the most dangerous. This is because the North Korean military can launch missiles anywhere at any time without warning. Not just over North Korea, but they also frequently fire missiles into the Japanese Ocean. Normally, in such situations, announcements are made several days in advance, and before firing, all planes in the vicinity are contacted by radio to warn them. This is why commercial flights that only need to cross North Korea now bypass it entirely. Number 2. Mecca, the holy city in Saudi Arabia, is an incredibly important place of worship for Muslims worldwide. It's believed that the Masjid al-Haram is built on Earth's center of gravity. Some say that's why neither planes nor birds can fly over it, but in reality, there's no truth to these claims. Planes don't fly over the Masjid al-Haram simply because the Saudi government has designated it as a no-fly zone. There are two main reasons for this. First is security. Mecca is always filled with millions of Muslims, and any unfortunate incident could result in significant loss of life. The second reason is Mecca's location. Mecca is surrounded by mountains, so if planes flew overhead, the noise would echo and amplify, potentially disturbing pilgrims. This is also why there's no airport in Mecca. If there were, planes taking off and landing at low altitudes would cause noise pollution. Now let's talk about Area 51. Located in the US state of Nevada, Area 51 covers 7,500 square kilometers. It's part of a top-secret US Air Force base. Area 51 has always been shrouded in controversy as people believe that the American military is conducting research on secret weapons and UFOs there. This secret base, hidden among the surrounding mountains, is not visible from ground level. However, Area 51's facilities can be easily spotted from an airplane. To prevent this, authorities have designated the entire base as a no-fly zone. If a plane attempts to fly over it, it will be immediately ordered to change course. If the pilot still doesn't comply, the US Air Force has the authority to shoot it down. I hope you'll like and share this. Thank you so much for your loving comments. See you in the next exciting video.